All right, pre-show shenanigans. Grant, the resident film buff of the two of us, recently
I'll be honest,
saw.
my film intake has significantly grown in the past year or so.
It is like,
as a man,
you've seen way more movies than I have.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At least in the past like 2 years.
Yeah, like recent. I would say just
Recently.
a year, like a 1 year time frame. Like since COVID started to like a year ago ish. Right now, I did not go to the theater a single time. But like as a man who never saw Top Gun Maverick in theaters,
yeah, that was your own fault.
now
that
I
was
can
stupid.
never.
That was
now
stupid.
I need to see every single big movie in theaters when it comes out, just in case.
Which is why you saw Madam Web.
Well, that was a whole different set of circumstances. To be honest, that was more so I was just really craving popcorn. Like,
yeah, can't make it at home. Gotta go to the movie theater. Gotta spend $10 on.
That was more so that. I mean, quick side note: Dave Portnoy claims he had 4 large popcorns when he saw Dune.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
That is like that should be like a part of the Olympics. Is how much large popcorn can you consume?
Wow.
Where was it buttered? Is the next question. Was it buttered?
We don't know those details.
For his sake, I hope not.
Though.
Oh, yeah, for his sake, I hope not.
We should assume no. There's apparently a story of Dave Portnoy. He actually had a heart attack one time eating too much popcorn at a movie. He literally had a heart attack coming out of the theater.
Yeah, speaking about Grant's movie, movie buff history. Grant, I have not seen it yet. I'm going to be seeing it this week, hopefully.
No spoilers.
Grant recently saw Dune 2, which is apparently like the best movie of like the past 10 years.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I saw Dune 1 like years ago.
Yeah, on HBO.
I remembered it. I fell asleep halfway through Dune 1 when I watched it like years ago. Yeah. So I tried to revisit it last week before I watched it. I could not get through Dune 1. I mean, wow. That movie is slow. The best way I could describe it is
I've seen it. Yeah, it's politics movie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like any series that has books rewritten before it and you have the storyline already plotted out, mapped out, like the first movie is
it's like the first Hobbit movie.
You're just setting up everything. Yeah, like literally. Like it's just set up.
But back to your experience.
Yeah, I'm not here to actually talk about the movie itself. I would suggest go watch it. But I went to go see it in 4DX. This is the first time I've ever seen a motion picture in 4DX. Okay. I want to start by saying this. It was hilarious. Now, I did bring a large popcorn tub in. I did not have
You did not buy the Dune. Okay.
Because the Dune popcorn is an AMC only thing. AMC doesn't have 4DX.
I believe I am seeing it on AMC.
Good. Like, I am going to rewatch it again in AMC. First,
just for the popcorn bucket.
First, we're going to explain an annoying guest nearby, and then we're going to take a quick poll around the room about film etiquette, film cinema viewer etiquette. Quick little debate. Let's embrace debate today. But before I get onto that exactly, just without having the Dune popcorn bucket, I can confirm firsthand my experience was worse. Can confirm that.
Yeah, now let's get into the actual experience.
4DX. Very first takeaway as a man who's never watched a movie in 4DX. The trailers in 4DX, let's just say if I were to take a poll of everyone in that theater and everyone with a large tub of popcorn up to the brim when you walked in for those trailers, I would say of everyone with a full large popcorn bucket, 40% of popcorn was lost at the end of the trailers. Okay. Wow. Holy shit. It was like riding one of those mechanical bulls.
Oh, it moves. The chairs move. Oh, this is like you're at Universal. It's like the Simpsons ride, and it's moving you in the Simpsons ride. It's like that.
It is exactly like that, but each individual seat has their own motors, function skills. Okay?
So wait, this is not a spoiler because it was in the trailer.
We're not talking about the movie, okay? We're talking about the 4DX, but anything in the trailer is on limit. So anything you have there, I will answer.
There's currently a commercial playing in my ears. Hopefully that was not picked up on the audio.
Did not hear anything.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, sorry, I could not hear what you just said, but what I was gonna say, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, just anything
when they're
in the
riding
trailer's
the
fair game.
worms, what's going on with the chairs?
That's one thing where I didn't want to spoil. I'm not going to say anything about the
It's in the trailer. It's in the trailer. So
okay, so yeah, I don't and shit. If you know Dune 1, you know there. Even if you know nothing about
there's
Dune
worms.
1, you're aware there's sandstorm.
The bucket is a worm. So
yes. Let's say during that scene, I not gonna lie, I had already killed my popcorn. Not gonna lie. But I will come out and say this: there was significantly less 40x during the movie than the trailer scenes. Now I think Regal
so when you got the Kung Fu Panda 4 trailer commercial,
bro, Jack Black was electric in the 40x trailer. I mean, wow. I was literally sitting there right when it ended. My first thought was like, now we went to a Clippers game immediately after. I can also quickly compare 40x movie versus Clipper game. Let's just say the more exciting event is closer than you think. Closer than you think.
It's the trailers.
Yeah, no, the trailers were the most entertaining part of my night. Way more entertaining than Harden casually dropping like a 30-point triple-double. Way more entertaining than Kawhi Leonard like actually playing in a regular season game despite being against the 9-50 Wizards. He had no reason to play. Absolutely no reason to play at all. Okay, I need to finish the 40x, but I need to bring up one last thing with Russell Westbrook. I need to address because it was the perfect metaphor explanation of Russell Westbrook. But okay, back to the 40x. There was significantly more 40x rumbling, tumbling, bumbling in the trailers than the movie itself. I will also say there are many scenes in Dune or just
just a little live notice for everybody. I currently have a national weather advisory for flash flood warnings here in New Orleans. So
I mean, I'm trying to find the most recent flash flood warning I got about USC, and I would say it's probably like watch out, like a third of an inch of rain coming this Friday.
Yeah, no, it's a little tough out here right now.
Okay, last thing I just want to say about the movie specifically, my roommate and I, when we went to go, we sat next to a guest who was very, very into the movie, very, very into it, which I don't have any problems with. Okay, I would say if you were to compare my interest in Dune compared to the average person at that theater, I was definitely below 50th percentile. Side. Definitely on the lower half of average in terms of my excitement. However, the guy we were sitting next to, every single time like a new star came on screen, so that could be Timothée Chalamet in the first 6 seconds, it could be Zendaya 45 seconds in, it could be Javier Bardem 5 minutes in. Every time a new superstar came on screen, the guy next to us let out a visceral just like
verbal
full on phrases. And there was one scene specifically with Austin Butler where his character is just asking a bunch of questions, and in between each question the guy was like, yeah, Elvis, tell him Elvis, go, yeah, Elvis. And I was just like,
would you say that positively or negatively affected your experience?
Without question, negatively impacted my, without question. It got
he's saying this
bad.
While your chair's rattling back and forth, you're getting sprayed with water in the face.
Yes, and I don't exactly know what any scenes in the trailer, so I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a scene where Austin Butler's character is fighting. Every single time his character did some type of sword swing movement, the guy screamed. Every single time. And you'll see that scene. It's not quick. It's pretty long. So lot of verbal interruptions in between those scenes. I just want to say, like, when it comes to movie etiquette, I have no problems of you being exciting. If you want to dress up, I applaud you. I actually wish that I was able to get a Dune costume together to dress up. But if you
you see the guy who made like a literal snake worm to ride, like that's pretty
sick.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's dedication to your craft. But if you're just kind of gonna have an out loud internal monologue what you think of the movie while you're watching it in theaters on release day, to say the least, yeah, no, we're gonna have problems. You can't be doing that. You just can't. I feel like I was also shocked that the other people nearby us weren't saying anything. I feel like if you're going to go to a theater in any place in the United States, LA is the one place where you would get shushed by the other people if you were speaking during it. I feel maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it's the other way around. I kind of feel like that would make more sense. But yeah, little etiquette conversation, guys. We need to be quiet during the movies. Like, I don't care if you're texting, I do not mind. But if you're speaking, that's the problem. That's where I draw my line in the sand. I put my foot down for that.
It's in the ground. Yeah.
I just feel like you're openly showing that you don't care about anyone else's experience other than your own.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say there's no other way to put it. The last thing I want to say, though, Russell Westbrook, it was his bobblehead night on Friday. And Russell Westbrook, like pregame, they were doing a bunch of like promos on the Jumbotron talking about how he's Iron Man. He doesn't get hurt. Like the Clippers, they got a lot of injury prone players, Kawhi, Paul George, and Harden. If they can just stay healthy, then they do have a shot. But the problem is staying healthy. Westbrook's like the only guy that you can rely on to stay healthy. But Everett, during the game, Russell Westbrook had a little injury with his hand, and on my way back, guess what happened to my Russell Westbrook bobblehead?
His hand broke off. Is this a voodoo? Is this like one of those dolls, the voodoo witch dolls? I don't know what it's called.
Now, it isn't the correct hand. It isn't the right one, but the second
Did you break it before or after?
The second I got back home, so I didn't jinx him. But the second I got back home, Russell Westbrook's arm fell off.
Yeah, that's interesting timing.
I mean, you couldn't have gotten a better time. The only thing that broke, by the way, was the hand. Nothing, everything else stayed intact. Just his hand. Now, I'll be honest, it was his left hand, bobblehead wise, that got hurt, not his right hand, which he fractured in real life. But it was just too eerie to me to not point out and mention that the night Russell Westbrook, Mr. Iron Man, who doesn't miss a game, finally misses a game from a broken hand, I drop his bobblehead, and what's the only thing that breaks? His hand. So that's on me, Russ. That one's on me, even though it happened after you got hurt. That one's on me. That one is on me.
You'll put a finger up for that one.
I'll put a finger up for that. But I think that might wrap up our pre-show, unless you got anything else.
No, I do not. Okay. I'm trying to continue this before my power randomly cuts out.
Oh yeah, forgot about that detail. But all right, without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 201. The NFL Combine has wrapped. LeBron is the first and only player in NBA history to reach 40,000, and Caitlin Clark is now the all-time NCAA point holder. Now, I don't know where you want to start, Everett. I've got a little MLB update too. Dodgers have been red hot, very looking damn good. Might I say?
Donaldson retired as well.
Yes, Donaldson retired. You want to start off with MLB? There's a couple of exciting.
Like we're already going that direction. We can.
Yeah,
You wanted that
pushed
to
us
happen.
in that.
Come on now.
May have pushed us. Wanted to lead us in that direction, but okay. Dodgers look damn hot. Great news. I wish. If anything, it's great that we have this international series coming up, and I believe 16 days. I believe it's March 20th is when we will have that series. I believe
that is our opening series as well.
I believe we leave later this week, maybe on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, to go overseas and to go to Korea for that couple of days leading into our Korean series. I believe we'll be playing the Korean international team, maybe even the Japanese international team. I think we're going to be playing like 1 or 2 KBO teams for spring
yes,
training.
we are playing
So
Korean national
that will be exciting to look into. I'm always a big fan. Like the very first spring training game for a good amount of teams, they just play against college baseball teams. I just love getting some of that in there finally. But in other news, aside from Dodgers talk specifically, even though this is more Dodgers talk, apparently this morning, 4 new teams reached out to Scott Boras over Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, the 2 best lefty starters available on the market. Now, Bellinger, I believe he wanted upwards of $150 to $200 million. I believe that's what he was asking for at the start of free agency. He got $80 million over 3 years.
Same deal with Matt Chapman going to the Giants. He declined his option with the Blue Jays and got
Chapman to the Giants. That was a guy where I thought we could even go after him if we didn't re-sign Muncy. But Chapman will be a San Francisco Giant, which you never want to see the Giants get a guy, but he's a defensive guy. He's not an offensive guy, so we're okay there. But Blake Snell and Montgomery available. This is what I'm thinking. If we could get Blake Snell on a 1 year 30, a 2 year 50, I think we go for it because I'm not sure
and
how many top lefties are going to be available this or next season.
And if that happens and we do not at least make the World Series, Dave Roberts, we'll see you later, buddy.
Regardless of if we get Snell or not, if we don't make a World Series push this year,
we'll see you later.
My God, like the internal debates that I'll have about the future of the Dodgers if we can't put it together.
Oh, it's bad.
Man, it's gonna be like this time of year. It's so fun preseason. It's so fun right now. Just on paper, having the number 1 team, it's just great. But like, we're gonna need to see this production. We're gonna need to see this in September, see this in October. So I will say though, I have been very impressed with a couple of our younger pitchers. Now, obviously, last year did not go to plan, but Stone, Big Gavin has been doing a lot better this season. I'm not saying we're throwing him into the starting rotation.
It is training. It is spring training.
It is spring training. It is. Take everything with a grain of salt. But I do think long-term starter might not be too much of a concern. I do think in the meantime, right now, this year, next season, yes, let's bring in one more big guy. Let's go get another big name. But I definitely think we have a lot of prospects, a plethora, might I add, in that starting department, which might change how we approach this Snell deal if we are one of the 4 teams interested in, and let's not act like we aren't. But I can see us holding off and not doing anything. I
also like, you got to remember. Yeah, I know we're already above the luxury tax and everything, so for this year it might not matter.
That doesn't exist.
But next year it will matter. So,
like the thing is with these contracts, we're going to be over the luxury tax for the next 2-3 years. Like getting Glasnow, like shit, like we are going to be. Like that, the front office has shown that we don't care. Like we know we're going to be over.
We'll get death penalty in about 6 years. It's okay though.
Yeah, it's kind of a BS thing about the MLB and roster construction, what you're allowed to do. But I definitely think we're just going to end up just running the shit back. Just keep on going, staying 70, 80, even 100 over the luxury tax a couple of years going forward. I do think it is important to keep in mind some other potential free agents we have coming up here soon, like Will Smith, and what we're going to do at catcher long term. You know, if it were
I'll tell you one thing, it will not be Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, if it were to me, he's definitely gone. But well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he underperformed this year to a point where it's worth us keeping him. But hey, at the end of the day, we don't want him underperforming. Like we need a win. So yeah, Dodgers, a lot of things that could happen, could go down. But for the most part, think maybe we'll take a run at Snell on a 1 year, 2 year. That's about it. I think we're pretty set for now.
Yeah. Unrelated to the Dodgers, though, Josh Donaldson retiring, I just think that it's interesting to see how quickly things change from him being on the cover of MLB The Show, I think 16 to getting a massive contract from the Twins, sucking, and now being out of the league. So,
yeah, Donaldson, he's I would say one of those players. He's had a quite interesting history, I believe. If I have this correct, won MVP in 2015. That obviously helped propel him getting his big money. I think just one thing about baseball in general, like, you don't know how long these shelf lives are, and it is a risk, and you never know how players are going to turn out. And I would say if we're going to somehow relate this back to the Dodgers, makes sense. Many guys that we've let walk and not pay, like the only awful examples that Seager.
Yeah, you want an example? Craig Kimbrell, spring training this year.
But like,
he has a 22.5 ERA in spring training this year.
I'm talking like your 200 mil plus.
No, hitters. I know, but I just saw that stat and I needed to work it in somehow.
Oh yeah, I mean, Craigie over there. I mean, we have an award named after him for the biggest disappointment of the year. So I mean, I don't need to give my 2 cents on Craig. We already know what we think of him. It's just baseball. These shelf lives, they are so unpredictable. It's very hard to know how long a player,
which is not great considering the Dodgers have multiple very long-term contracts with those kinds of players.
I would say the difference with the Dodgers is that we are very selective when we give out those contracts, and we don't give those out very willingly. Like for example, like Mookie, like that's a contract where if you ask any Red Sox fan right now, they personally want everyone involved in the Mookie Betts trade sent to Guantanamo. They want it right now. But like, let's look at a Trey Turner. The Dodgers were very smart not re-signing.
Let's look at a Corey Seager.
That's the only thing. But let's think about like this. Great job not re-signing his ass. Like, if he was on the Dodgers, he wouldn't be that good. It's just like a
great defense,
a spot thing. Like him on the Cubs, he can succeed. It's just him in LA. It doesn't.
Who was the guy we traded to the White Sox a couple years ago? Outfielder.
Pollock.
Yeah, I think it was AJ Pollock.
He was nice. He was nice. COVID year 2021. Yeah. I like Paulo a lot. But you know, when it comes to the contracts we give out, like Ohtani, for example, yes, 700 mil, unheard of shit. But if we're just talking big name guys, like, I know for fact that Ohtani will be at worst a top 3 hitter in the MLB for the next 7 years. Like, I feel so confident saying that. I don't feel that same way about Mookie or Freddie, if you want me to be honest. It's just like the Trey Turner one, I'll be pointing at for the rest of my life, because the numbers showed at the end of Trey Turner's time in LA, the fastball number was declining, the off speed wasn't great, and as he gets into his 30s, what makes Trey Turner will just fade away. So it comes and goes. There are some times where we fumble the bag. Shit, we traded Jordan Alvarez to the fucking Astros. Okay,
O'Neal Cruz.
Sometimes we mess up bat. O'Neal Cruz. We traded Pedro Martinez to the Red Sox. Okay, we have a lot of L's in the record book. Not gonna lie, but I think we do a good job picking and choosing when we do spend. We'll see how Yamamoto. We'll see how that one pans out. Hopefully, he stops tipping. But yeah, I think that'll wrap up MLB.
Okay, we could do NFL, combine, kind of college football.
I just really wanted to talk just LeBron scoring 40K real quick.
Oh, okay.
We never talk basketball. I just want to quickly bring this up. But
big weekend for basketball at all levels.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark as well. We could maybe talk about that too.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest,
Rich Paul announcing Bronny's draft decision. Did you hear about that?
Well, that he doesn't want to. Be a bad idea.
The fact he even came out at something about Bronny NBA draft, it's just like, oh my god, guys, like, can we just stop for a minute, please? But LeBron hitting 40. Okay, I don't think we'll ever have another player come relatively close to breaking 40. If you just think about LeBron,
are you telling me Jaylen Brown is not hitting it with a good left hand?
Now, if Jaylen Brown had a left hand, my God, that might be the best basketball player ever. But it's just the longevity LeBron has had. He, I believe, if I have this correct, 2018, his first year on the Lakers, was the most time he's missed in a single season in his NBA career. I believe he missed like half the season. The fact that he's consistently able to average 25 to 27 a night over 20, 21, 22 years is just absolutely ridiculous.
I believe against kids that, by the way, were born after he was in the NBA.
Like, there's a recent clip couple years ago. It's Jabari Smith from Auburn going up to LeBron. It's Jabari Smith's first ever NBA game. He goes up to LeBron and says, "Hey, in your very first game, you played against my dad." And LeBron's just like, "Dog, like, oh, why the fuck did you tell me that? That makes me feel so old." But it's like LeBron is literally playing with children of guys he used to play against.
And with.
Yes. Like it is ridiculous how long he's been able to not just like be good, but be great. Like, sure, he's not a top 3 player in the NBA anymore, but he's still, at worst, I'd say he's top 5, at worst top 10. I might be boosting him. Worst top 10. Okay. I can
tell you who's not. AD.
Anthony Davis. Remember, guys, the best ability is what? That's right. Availability, the number 1 ability in all of sports. But yeah, and if we see the NBA shortening the season down, then it will definitely never ever be broken. Definitely never be broken. But 40,000. What? That's so many points if you think about it.
That is something that MJ's never done.
True. I will say one thing that I did look up. So LeBron, despite having most points in NBA history, guess how many times in his career he has led the NBA in scoring in a single season?
2.
1 time. Guess how many times MJ did it?
7.
8.
That was close on both of them.
Pretty fucking solid out of you. I'm not going to lie.
Pretty close on both of those.
You know, like I will say though, for us, our I'm not sure what you think, but for people our age, yes, it makes sense for us to say LeBron is the GOAT. That makes sense. That's
like my personal argument. That like the thing that I like the most, the arguments I've seen the most is they're GOATs of their own generation. Like there's there's no way to actually compare properly.
The problem is everyone watching, they want whoever the best player is when they're watching to be the GOAT.
Like for me, like the argument that I saw was Michael Jordan is the like consensus GOAT of the 90s, 80, like late 80s, 90s, right?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant is the GOAT of the 2000s.
Yeah.
LeBron James is the GOAT of 2010s.
Yeah, it's literally just those are the 3 guys who were the face of the NBAs at those eras, and that should make sense. That's the whenever your favorite period of NBA basketball was, that whoever was at the top of the game. The
other argument that I had between Michael Jordan and LeBron James specifically is Michael Jordan is the better basketball player, specifically LeBron James is the better athlete, and that's the big difference between the two of them.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm real quick just on that. Like, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I would argue that LeBron being like 6'9", 260 over 20 something years, still being in peak shape, like he's definitely more athletic, way more athletic, and maintains his body way better than the average NBA rookie today. Like the average 20-year-old has much worse health vitals than LeBron.
Have you looked at Zion lately?
No, I have not. He hasn't played in the game in a while, so no. All I'm saying, after my time in Louisiana, I understand Zion. I get it. I totally get it, dude. Like those fish tacos, bro. I would also be skipping many games.
I did not watch Caitlin Clark's game, by the way, so I can't really comment on much, but I did see, obviously she now holds the record for most points, I think, ever in either men's or
the controversy doesn't necessarily have to do with the game itself. Like, I'll just say, as an Ohio State guy, I'm not sure. Well, you said you didn't see it, but like Caitlin Clark, like was way more aggressive against the Ohio State women's players than Ohio State was towards her, even though the only tech called was against Ohio State for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, she broke the points record on TO free throws. So just gonna get that out of the way.
All right, that's not as. I mean, it's still the record's still cool, but
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just messing. I don't really care about that part.
No, you do. You do. Come on now.
I will say though about the Caitlin Clark thing that people are debating. Like the bigger complaint is like, why is this now? Like I thought men's college basketball and women's college basketball were different. Like why is now she lumped in the Pete Maravich? Like a couple weeks ago, she broke the women's scoring record held by I don't know her name. I'll be honest, but from a woman who played a long time ago for Kansas. And let's just say not a single human in women's college basketball media covered that record at all until Caitlin Clark broke it. And they asked that former Kansas player, can you like come in and give Caitlin Clark the award that she passed you? And she was like, what the fuck? No, you guys literally have not mentioned me one time in the past 40 years until now. Like, fuck you. I'll be honest, like Caitlin Clark, I've seen a lot as an Ohio State fan, like a lot of them are like flopping Caitlin Clark, yada yada. I will just say she's disgusting. She's like actually so good. Like I was aimlessly had some game on a couple of weeks ago. She literally is pulling up from half court curry range, wetting it in people's faces. She's amazing. Like straight up. And this isn't a WNBA thing. This is all NBA, okay? Look how many number one overall picks come in and dominate. Like, I'm ready to say Caitlin Clark will be a top 3 player in the WNBA, like, by year 2 in the WNBA. Like, she's so good.
I honestly,
up, she's a better shooter than Danny Green. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, that's a low bar.
Yes.
I know, I think Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah, no, seeing her barely like, under Steph, it's like, yeah, like... Yeah. I'm not debate. Like,
can we just, I'm going to be honest, for the sake of the WNBA, can we put them both on the New York Liberty? Can they both be on the same team? Now that I would watch that.
They should rig it. They should. They should do a frozen envelope, like
frozen envelope action.
Yeah. 1,000,000%.
I'm telling you, that's the future right there.
I would say though, Caitlin Clark, without question, has, I would say, is the biggest superstar in all of college basketball since Zion. I don't think I've noticed one specific player getting this much coverage and attention since Zion. It was Paige Buecher's first.
Are you telling me that Johnny Juzang was not getting this? You and I both know he was getting some kind of attention by
he was getting
one individual specifically, but
not like this. Not like this. I think though, like, the fact that she actually did just break that record is ridiculous.
Look, I do have to comment. I do have to comment this.
Clark's amazing.
For the listeners and watchers out there, this has been scrubbed from the internet, so you're gonna have to have watched or been present for March Madness, whatever year it was. I think 2021. There was an individual who was so excited to see Zion Williams. He had his hand in places it shouldn't have been. Anyways. Watching not Zion Williams, watching Johnny Juzang
scrubbed
off the internet.
You
watching
cannot
Johnny Juzang.
Find that one.
You cannot find it. Grant and I do know the individual.
I mean, to be honest, the fact I forget about that, and someone brings it up like once or twice a year, and every single time it gets me.
Yeah, we can't comment, but we will say that the family group chat on in that situation was hilarious. Okay.
Oh,
moving forward. Great.
Yeah.
Moving forward, let's get into the NFL Combine, college football. First thing I want to say before we do that, I have a little interesting timeline thing for you with the Chargers. I think you're gonna love this.
I'm excited.
In 2004, Jim Harbaugh's San Diego Toreros beat the Dayton Flyers 38-35 after Dayton quarterback Brandon Staley threw a game-ending interception. This was Jim Harbaugh's first season as a head coach of a football team. He would later go on to replace Brandon Staley as head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I feel like at this point, I need to just see a list of like early coaching matchups. Like I need to know like Urban Meyer's first matchups at Bowling Green when he was there. Like I need to see
but the sole fact that this and his first ever season as a head coach of anything, any level was against
already somehow
Brandon Staley choked it
away
by throwing an interception is the greatest thing possible.
Yeah, I would say one thing that just fascinates me about Harbaugh's like timeline and career is how much time he actually spent in the NFL and like was actually there. And one thing I say, and this is just when it comes to coaching hiring, like I think Kevin O'Connell, him being on many NFL teams, getting to know many different executive groups, coaches, teammates, you name it, what yada yada. I think that has expanded his coaching circle today so unbelievably much. The amount of people that KOC is connected with and could be potential position coaches under him is absurd. And I think for another guy like Harbaugh, just honestly kind of being somewhat of a journeyman, like playing for a lot of different franchises with many different teammates, I do think that at the end of the day, that's going to help him and expand his horizons on like coach hirings or screw it, I don't know, connections to be made or whatnot. Like when it comes to Staley and I'm looking at him, like, you know what? I'll give him some respect. Okay. I believe he was at Tennessee in 2012 when they were up to some dirty ass recruiting scheming shit. So Staley might know a thing or two about some dirty underneath table stuff, but I feel like we're seeing a big trend right now with former players, and it doesn't even need to just be a head coach, but like, I just feel like Staley is very limited to like the McVay coaching tree and like the Shanahan tree, I guess now, in terms of who are his dogs and boys. But like a KOC, there are probably, if he ever needs a wide receiver coach, he probably has 12 guys he could call up and they would all drop whatever they're doing and come.
Yeah, no, former players, 100%.
Now, you kind of took me a little bit off track. I was just thinking Staley there versus Harbaugh. That is a very.
How did I take you off track? You started talking about it. Like it had nothing to do with me saying anything. No. You just went on your own tangent.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
don't be blaming me for that.
The Staley thing, this is like very off topic to the original thing, but he's now DC at San Francisco.
Not DC. He's not DC. He is an advisor. He's in an advisory role.
Never mind.
They promoted Nick Sorensen to DC.
I thought he was DC, and I was gonna say I already know he's gonna be excellent. That's just how this works.
This other kind of small world funny thing. I know your favorite quarterback of all time, Terry Bradshaw. Yeah, Terry Bradshaw.
Him and Dan Marino. Those are my two.
Those are your guys. In 1983, needed to get
and Charlie Batch.
In 1983, Terry Bradshaw needed to get shoulder surgery, and he didn't want to draw attention to himself, so he went under a pseudonym. Pseudonym's name was one Tom Brady. This is in 1983. Tom Brady was 6 years old at the time. The fact that this happened, it's just a small, like you would choose a name that ended up being the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest player of all time. That's just such a small world. Like that's weird.
And I mean, I was thinking like, why the hell would he pick Tom Brady, Terry Bradshaw, TB? He wanted to just do TB initials, I guess.
Yeah, because then you can just sign off. It's the same. But also the fact he's like, I want to keep it low key, and I read it and it was like, yeah, he was going around the hospital, like giving high fives, seeing kids. I'm like, yeah dude, you're in a shoulder sling. Like, what are we doing here?
So what I wanted to go on is now, if a mysterious Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback named Tom Brady, who is not listed on the roster, gets shoulder surgery, if I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan at the time, I just quickly look up quarterbacks on roster.
This is 1983. You can't really. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I know. There is that too. So shit, I guess it worked. I guess
it did not, because it came out in the news, so it clearly did not work. He was giving just high fives and stuff to kids in the hospital.
I'm confused.
They can recognize you.
I'm just really confused by Terry Bradshaw's angle here. Like,
interesting.
I just don't, because he didn't want it to get out that he was getting.
And then
But by doing that, the only quarterback that they cared about would be him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. We're getting into kind of the combine NFL draft stuff. First thing that I want to say, combining we've heard that Brian Burns and the negotiations between them and the Panthers has kind of come to a halt right now. Franchise tag is due tomorrow, I believe, some timeline. So today, when this is being uploaded, so there's a chance he gets franchise tag. Then, if not, it will go to free agency, and he most likely will not resign in North Carolina and Carolina. So combining the Bryce Young trade and remember mid-season how there were trade offers for Brian Burns? There's trade offers for Brian Burns. So combining the Bryce Young trade with the Brian Burns trade offers that the Panthers rejected, which, by the way, now they might not get anything for him, David Tepper essentially gave up Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, a top 10 round 1 pick this year, a second rounder this year, another second rounder this year, a first rounder next year, a first rounder 2025, and a second rounder in 2025 in exchange for a 1-year rental of Brian Burns in a 2-win season, in which they probably will not resign. And Bryce Young, who had the second worst rookie quarterback season by any quarterback since Vietnam. So,
wow, did not expect that turn on the stat at the end there. Really?
Yes, really.
Is that just judged on like QBR or?
I don't know. I don't know. But
I believe
the fact that
I believe it.
Just
I'm not
the franchise alter. That's franchise. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, a top 10 pick this year, arguably the first overall pick, a second rounder this year, an additional second rounder this year, a first rounder next year, another first rounder in 2 years, and a second rounder in 3 years. Like they could have had two first round picks this year because Caleb Williams counts as that first overall. So then the Rams have what, like 9 or something, or 10? I don't know.
Now let's also give a quick lesson on opportunity cost, folks. The Panthers turned down an offer from the Rams for 2 firsts and a second. So although it still would have been a bad trade, they could have gotten some of that back. The Rams would have bailed them out. Now, I mean, I guess those picks would have been late first, so not exactly. But you get what I'm saying. They had a chance to at least get some of that back and chose not to. Yeah, this Tepper experiment, he's only been there since like 2018, correct?
Yeah, since like 2017, 2018, 2019. One of those.
So I mean, we're not even in decade 2, and it is not looking great. It is not looking great for the future outlook of the Carolina Panthers. Yikes. Are they still benefiting off the McCaffrey trade in any way, or is that ran its course?
That's over. Okay. That is over.
Right. So okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's not ideal. You don't want to hear that as a Carolina fan. That's not very inspiring. You got anything else? Any other takeaways? God. Could you might be free of your trade with the Cowboys? Maybe you move to a different standing.
That's always going to be bad, but I'll be honest. Well, that was a singular trade, and we gave up like 5 first-round picks, which was stupid. Okay. But like for the fact that you could have flipped 2 players, not even 2 players, 1 player, because just not doing the Bryce Young trade, just not doing that at all, right? So you're flipping 1 player.
Been helpful.
Flipping 1 player into essentially a top 10 pick this year, 2 second rounders this year, a first rounder next year, first rounder in 3 years, and a second rounder in 2 years. That is absurd. That is horrific management. This is the precise example of why owners should not be involved, which is interesting because the Commanders' new owner was involved in interviews at the combine for the quarterbacks.
Well, this is the other thing. The owner, he didn't speak up in any of these interviews. He just sat like behind the GM in like a little desk, just taking notes. That's
probably better than what David Tepper was doing. But at the same time, if you want to learn, if you want to learn lessons from anybody, it is do not do what David Tepper has done, which is fucked his franchise.
Just leave. Go outside.
Okay, so now getting into actual combine results and stuff. I'm gonna have a little throwback here real quick. We're having a throwback moment, Grant.
I have a feeling we might know. I thought I would know what
our favorite
you want to start off with, but I'm guessing not.
Our favorite PFF analyst, Anthony Trash,
God. No.
in 2021 stated that Keaton Slovis will be the first overall pick in the 2022 draft. That did not happen. Just want to shout out Anthony Trash. Anthony Trash. You once again suck. So thank you very much.
Is Keaton at Pitt? Or is he in the draft?
BYU. He's in the draft now. Like he's been in the combine.
Yeah. I was about to say that guy definitely's got to be out of college by now. But
ran the fastest combine and ran the fastest 40 of the combine for quarterbacks.
Was he like one of two quarterbacks to run?
Sam Hartman, and Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler ran a 4.92. Slow as balls. Yeah, not great.
Spence.
I'm not surprised. Can't say I'm surprised.
4 quarterbacks ran.
Cannot say I'm surprised. So here's the deal with the combine. It's going to be interesting to see if people overreact to Xavier Worthy or not. I think it's not super surprising that I think people are surprised he ran a 4.21 because nobody's like, they're going to break the record.
I didn't think he was going to break the combine record.
Xavier Worthy was known to already be a fast player, so hopefully it's not going to be a John Ross bit. We're like, all right, we're going to take them 3rd overall now. Looking at you, Cincinnati, but I think it's going to. The Chiefs inevitably are going to get him. I know it's going to happen. He's going to get taken at 32. Like, that's what's going to happen. But that was interesting. I do also think that Keon Coleman hurt his stock a little bit. Like the speed just wasn't great, but great hands. I think that Odunze looked a little bit worse than we thought. He had some drops and stuff.
I'm sorry. Ever since you said Xavier Worthy to Chiefs, I haven't been able to think. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Please no. Please no. No.
I think the most interesting thing is going to be between the running backs and the quarterbacks. The wide receiver class, everybody knows, is going to be deep, and I think it's going to push some really great talent down later in the draft that wouldn't normally be there just because people are going to be starting to just take value, which is going to be the wide receiver group. With the running backs, though, Braylon Allen obviously looked disgusting, but Isaac Guerrero, I don't know what his last Garanino, whatever his last name is, the guy from Louisville, I think is the 7th best player all time, like draft prospect all time for running backs based on
the RAS. Metrics.
Yes, based on combine metrics. Okay. So I mean, I'm expecting him to go up, but he ran a 4.33, like was like top 5 in almost everything. Like when you're on Madden and you're like scrolling through people and you just casually see like 4th, 5th, 7th, 4th, 3rd, and it's like the 6th round, you're like, oh, I know this guy's about to bang. Yeah, that's him. So he did really well. What's the Notre Dame guy? Estime. Yeah, he did not do a good job. Blake Corum, people were like, oh my God, Blake Corum's doing so good. I'm gonna be honest, Blake Corum did not look elite by my standards at the combine. Let's look at the quarterbacks though. So I said this in a TikTok the other day. There's going to be a fight for that 4th overall quarterback spot, and we're seeing people be like, hey, JJ McCarthy might work his way into being quarterback 3, or JJ McCarthy might work his way to being a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick or whatever, right? That is true. But based on everything that we've seen, Michael Penix is a much better quarterback than him, a much more complete quarterback. And if you're based just on quarterback and talent and whatever, Michael Penix is the 4th best quarterback based on what we saw at the combine specifically. JJ McCarthy, though, will be taken ahead of him for the sole basis that he is 21 years old and is moldable and is going to be probably about 24, Michael Penix's age, by the time that he's going to be needed to start for most of these teams, or maybe a little bit younger than that. He sailed a lot of balls, and I saw a lot of people be like, yeah, JJ McCarthy killed the combine today. I saw him sail multiple balls over people's head looking to the left, so I don't want to hear that.
Well, this is one thing I'll say about JJ from an Ohio State fan. Like, yes, trust me, Ohio State Twitter, trust me, they made it well aware to me how many missed balls JJ had. I know. I will say there are some other things about JJ that I think were very impressive metrics. And I do think a lot of the combine is kind of more so like raw attributes than anything else. And Joe Milton, who doesn't matter if it's a 5-yard flat or a 50-yard pass, he throws the same bullet velo ball every single time. Milton hit 62 miles an hour, led the combine.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, though.
JJ, 61 miles an hour.
Everybody's like, hey, Joe Milton, think about Joe Milton. Like Joe Milton this, Joe Milton that. Like, we knew that Joe Milton was going to come and throw a 72-yard ball. We knew that was going to happen.
Well, I'm not trying to hype up Joe Milton at all.
Joe Milton sucks. Let's clarify one thing. Joe Milton sucks, and somebody will reach on him for the sole basis of they see him throw 72 yards. Just saying.
I'm just saying, like, the fact that JJ only threw 1 mile less than Joe Milton, that shocked me. I didn't know JJ had that in him.
Oh, yeah. Well, he also reported 10 pounds heavier than expected, which is another thing.
Which I think is actually a very good sign that he was able to put on that weight. Like JJ, I thought that was a very good thing, showing that he was able to.
Now, the other thing
that quickly.
The other thing is people are like Spencer Rattler.
I think
I don't know what's up.
Top 15.
Oh yeah, no, yes. He's not getting past the Broncos at 12.
Like, would you be hyped taking like?
Well, I'll get into the Vikings.
Him at 11.
I'll get into the Vikings thing in a minute because I have something to say on that. I don't know for whatever reason, Daniel Jeremiah and Rich Eisen were Daniel Jeremiah specifically, it was so high on Spencer Rattler. He was talking up Spencer Rattler the whole time. He was like, look at this guy, like, et cetera, et cetera. Not talking about the fact that he lost the job to Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, or the fact that he sucked balls for most of his career. People have been like, the Senior Bowl, Spencer Rattler, disgusting, great. At the combine, Spencer Rattler, oh my God, like he's going to be a steal for some. Spencer Rattler in game is not good. He is Jameis Winston in the NFL. It's 50-50. It is not going to be a
Jameis is way better than Rattler.
That's even worse for Rattler. So like I'm just saying, people who are being like, yeah, Spencer Rattler is going to be the guy, is going to be the Dak Prescott of, like, you get him in the 4th round, he's going to be a starter. I hate to break it to you. Everything is telling me and most people that Spencer Rattler is showing out all this stuff and he's going to get people hyped. He's going to get that boost, and then he's going to turn out to be like Mitch Trubisky. All right. So let's calm down a little bit. My guy, though, Michael Pratt, kind of balled out at the combine. It's a silent ball, but he balled out a little bit. Now I'll say Mike would admit he missed a ball or two. He'd like to get back, but the overall performance and overall accuracy, pretty good compared to the other quarterbacks there. I think most of the quarterbacks actually did look pretty good in general, but Mike looked great. Mike had like the highest vert and 20-yard shuttle out of every quarterback. So want to tip the cap to
he ran the 40. I thought he didn't.
20 shuttle.
20
shuttle.
20. My bad.
Fastest 20 shuttle. I think he ran a 4.23, and the vert was 36. I think. So
yeah, Pratt, him and JJ were tied number 1 20-yard shuttle 4.23. I don't know if why would a quarterback ever bench? There's no results there. 3 cone? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, Jay Cutler did bench when he did it.
JJ 3
and
cone.
Jay Cutler would have tied the highest reps for tight ends from this year's
Jay Cutler. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I would say real quick, one thing that I like to look at a lot, like I know Ohio State coaches, they're very big on this measurement, just as a way of measuring your explosiveness.
I was going to say, if you're about to say hands, I'm about to slap you upside the head.
No. But broad jump. I feel like this is a very good way of actually measuring an athlete's explosiveness, and how I hate the word explosive. It's my least favorite word in college football because you hear it all the time. But to measure how like athletic a guy is, I like looking at broad jump. And one thing that really stuck out to me was how high up just a bunch of these former 5-star wide receivers all were. So at the top, A.D. Mitchell, Tez Walker, Jermaine Burton, and Xavier Worthy all at the top. I think it's very interesting how Xavier Worthy dropped that 4.22, then like continue doing the other drills. if it were up to me and I were him, I would have just sat out the rest of that shit.
Well, like John Ross did. He did sit out of it after the 40-yard dash.
Oh, he just did broad before. Then I'm guessing.
The last thing was 40-yard dash.
I just assume. Ooh, maybe that's a way of them making it so if you do break the record, you can't skip out of the other drills. You got to do them first now. Okay, I think I'm seeing something here. I think broad jump's a very good tracker of seeing that explosive measure. Of course, Isaac Garriendo, #1 in broad jump for running backs. I think Tez Walker is a guy I like a lot. Tez Walker is a guy I like. Jermaine Burton, don't really like as much, but I could see a spot where maybe some of these late second, third, fourth round guys can end up being big time players.
The guy from Florida as well, Ricky
Pearsall.
He had a great combine.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Like there's a lot to go around here, a lot to like, but I would say if we're
gotta give love to our guest Quan. Quan had a good combine.
Yeah, if we're gonna say that there is one winner of the combine, though, I think we're gonna have to say it's Worthy breaking the 40 record. I feel like.
Well, the true overall winner is definitely the Louisville. I don't remember his name. The Louisville running back Isaac Garriendo. That guy is the actual winner because of the fact that he was going to be like a 6th round pick and now is probably 3rd, maybe. He could arguably be one of the first running backs off the board. I know Worthy broke the record and all, but also Worthy was known to be fast. It wasn't expected he was going to do that, but it was known that he was going to run a very high 40.
Yeah, I mean, my big concern with Worthy is his size. I think he's listed at 165, but if you just watch him, that might be a boost. Like they might be 180. They might be overestimating. But is it?
I thought I saw 180 on him.
He's not that big. I know he isn't. Yeah, just online it says Xavier Worthy. They claim 172 pounds.
Yeah. Now let me get into the Vikings real quick before we end up wrapping up. For the Vikings, 11th overall pick, right? There's a lot of different directions that they could go here. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse were both names that were listed at 11. I would love
Dallas Turner for you there. My God.
JJ McCarthy was a name listed at 11. So was trading up and trying to draft a quarterback. And realistically, this all comes down to what happens with Kirk Cousins. The Vikings are interested in Justin Fields right now. The likelihood the Bears trade Justin Fields to an in-division opponent is not high unless they really want to firmly
unless you overpay.
Well, that, but also unless they firmly believe Justin Fields really does suck. Which, by the way, if they don't trade him to the Vikings, I'm telling you that means they think that they might fuck up by trading him.
So if they trade to the Vikings, then they're absolutely cool. Caleb.
That means they're confident that Justin Fields.
Got it.
Like this is an inside job. We're telling you to screw over the Vikings. But that's an option, right? And if they get a quarterback, if Kirk Cousins resigns, but more specifically, if they trade for Justin Fields, I could fully see them drafting Jared Verse, Dallas Turner in that 11 spot. And I would love that. Like if it was possible to do what the Texans did last year and get both quarterback and edge rusher in the same draft, be able to get that in the top 10, that is exactly what I would do. The problem is the Vikings don't have another 1st round pick. So if they could figure out a way to manage that, that is my dream scenario, is getting one of both. Now, with that said, I think that if the Vikings were to draft JJ McCarthy, it would be a very big mistake if he was going to be tasked with playing right away. If the Vikings have signed Kirk Cousins or another quarterback to play in the interim with JJ McCarthy being the guy of the future, great. But if that is not already, if there's not a quarterback on roster to do that right now, he should not be drafted. He should not be the Vikings quarterback. Like, it's going to end poorly. You cannot put him in a Zach Wilson situation and start him right away because he will shit the bed. So we cannot do that. All right. It's a bad idea. And if that's the case, I'd much rather either trade back. I'd pick Jared Verse. I'd pick Dallas Turner, one of those two.
Dallas Turner.
Both are going to be disgusting. Ooh. And, the 2nd round pick, the 11th pick and the 2nd round pick, like there's going to be guys there. My dream scenario if we
Trade
could have
back a little, maybe.
I mean, maybe, but like my dream scenario is somehow manage to land a quarterback, a edge, and one of the wide receivers in the second round. Make that trio. Give me that trio. But also the Vikings could get Braylon Allen.
You want to go for a receiver? Okay.
Well, you could get like the class is so deep they could get one in the third round, but like if they could get like a Braylon Allen or something in the second round, like that'd be kind of clean.
Like shit, if you guys went JJ first round, which I know you don't want.
The thing is, like, I expect the Vikings
way more game. Let's get a 3-headed trio monster at wide receiver.
After the first round, I fully expect, like, because I think the first round is going to be first and second round for the most part probably will be edge quarterback. Like that's going to be the two. But if an edge is taking the first round, I think it's less likely that they draft a quarterback in the second round. I think if they draft a quarterback in the first round, it's very likely they draft an edge in the second round. I think after those two specific picks, it's all value. Like it's wide receiver. Like it doesn't matter who we have. Like corners could like a spot that we need. Linebackers, technically, safeties, technically. Defensive tackles 100%. But like if somehow fucking, I don't know, if Keon Cole, if Adonai Mitchell is there in round 3, snipe him, take him. Like I want him. Like, and that's what I expect them to do.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like for your guys' like kind of situation right now, it's kind of lit that you don't really need to worry about tackle. Like I know for many teams, like Chargers included, like I was working on like Bengals a little bit earlier, like Jaguars, like tackle is such a concern around the NFL right now.
Very well. It's a premium position, and the class, the free agent class is not solid. It is not.
Yeah,
good.
That's not solid.
It
the
is
draft
not
class though is
pretty good.
I wouldn't say as good as
the first. The first round is great. At least
top
all
heavy.
Fuaga and Fashanu. Those are like the 3 guys that are really really good. But outside of that, it kind of tapers off a bit. So I don't know. Like it's not if you need one, that like you got to get one of those 3. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait a while.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of Latham, Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt. Maybe I'm getting biased here, but Chargers have been mocked Joe Alt at 5 a lot, and now I'm out on Joe Alt. But I really like him. I like Fuaga a lot.
It's going to be very good. So
I loved that Oregon State O-line. I also really like Amarius Mims out of Georgia.
I mean, I'm telling you, if it's me, if I was the Chargers, get rid of both of your edges right now. Like, do all the trades that I said. Just take Dallas Turner. Just take him. Set up that line again.
5 would be crazy.
Well, you trade back. You trade. They're gonna like the projection is that they're gonna trade back with one of those quarterback needy teams.
So now I don't believe this is going to happen. I don't believe it at all. But I've a lot of things on Twitter where saying, could we see 4 quarterbacks, first 4 picks? I'm going to say no way in hell.
I mean, 4 is the Cardinals. Are the Cardinals going to give up Marvin Harrison Jr. for a team to go draft? No, they're not going to do that. That'd be stupid.
No.
Because 5.
I would say, though, I definitely think that Neighbors will be there at 5.
Either way, yes, 100%.
I find it hard to believe a scenario where he's gone by 5.
But here's the thing:
that scenario,
if
you have to.
If somehow, twice. Like think about this though, like if you're a team, let's say 6 through 12, or 6 through 13, 14, because those are the teams like 11, 12, 13, 14 quarterback needy. Falcons at 8, Giants at 6, right? Giants probably won't draft some guy this year, though. Do you know that the Cardinals are not going to take a quarterback and the Chargers are not going to take a quarterback? I look at that. Hold on. There's a thumbs up on my, did you see that? I went like this and there's a thumbs up thing bubble that just came up. I've never seen that before. Okay. But I mean, you know, the Cardinals aren't going to take a quarterback. You know the Chargers aren't going to. So then it comes into, do you trade with the Giants if you think that they're going to take one or not going to take one? Do you trade with the Titans and try to leap the Falcons? If you're the Falcons, you just kind of stand pat unless you think somebody's going to jump you, and then you kind of get into those mind games. And I think the Chargers might be able to get them to bite.
If you're the Falcons, are you trying to get that Fields trade done like today? Just
I don't know. So a report that I just saw It is from Pro Football Talk, so it's kind of bullshit. But
shout out Mike Florio.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is considering moving his family to Atlanta. His wife is originally from Atlanta. I think that there's kind of a higher. His dad lives in Florida now. I do think that there is a higher possibility of him going to Atlanta than people think. I would probably put the margins on him going to the Vikings and going to the Falcons at dead even right now.
Ooh, okay. I didn't think I'd hear that out of you today. Just a quick little gander. Kirk in Atlanta. Just thoughts right away. Him to London, Pitts, get Bijan.
I mean, if they revitalize the defense, that's a Super Bowl contender with the right coaching.
Now, remind me again, who is their new coach again? This is the one guy that I have not.
Raheem Morris, DC from
Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris. Okay.
Now, if they fix the defense, the offense is set up that if you put a quarterback in place that's capable, they're going to do very well. If you fix the defense, that's the priority one. That team instantly becomes a Super Bowl contender, in my
opinion. Yeah. Okay. It like I guess also looking around Chicago at 9. Could we see him maybe trade down from there or something?
Odunze, Neighbors are both going to be there. They're getting that second wide receiver.
Point. Good. Never mind. Good point. Good.
Okay. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5-star.
I have an offseason wish list.
Oh, I also have some. That was a good call. That was a good call. That was a good call. Well, actually, no, you don't have offseason wish list because you need to save yours. I have 3. So I'll go run through mine right now, actually.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, don't need yours. Don't need yours. Okay. All right. Bills offseason wish list. Here we go. This is a fun time for me. Cut Nyheim Hines, restructure Josh Allen, Tre'Davious White, Rasul Douglas, Deion Dawkins, and Ryan Bates. Renegotiate Mitch Morse, Jordan Poyer, Deontay Hardy, and Taron Johnson. Resign Poona Ford and Shaq Lawson. And sign Adrian Amos, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Raekwon Davis. Giants
DPJ action in Buffalo.
DPJ in Buffalo.
DPJ action.
In Buffalo. Giants offseason wish list. Resign Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, Jihad Ward, and Cam Brown. Sign Robert Hunt, Kendrick Bourne, Kendall Fuller, Jonathan Bullard, and Quan Alexander. Restructure Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas, tender Benton Whitley and Jacob Eason, and ROFR tender Isaiah Hodgins.
Could you imagine where the Giants would be right now if they just never extended Danny Dimes and could have flexibility?
They'd probably have Caleb Williams right now. Or Tommy DeVito as their quarterback. Okay, finally.
My apologies to his agent. You guys are doing a great job. Don't come after us.
Bucks. Re-sign Baker Mayfield, Levante David, Chase McLaughlin, and Anton Winfield. Sign Deshaun Elliott and Dalton Reisner. Restructure Vita Vea, Jamel Dean, and Chris Godwin. Renegotiate Carlton Davis. Extend Tristan Wirfs. And tender Brandon Walton and Devin Tompkins.
You did see they did it. They did extend Mike Evans earlier today. You saw
yes,
that, right?
I'm aware of that. Yes, I'm aware of that. That's why he was not included in there.
Yeah. I mean, real quick, just when you bring it up, God, I swear Vita Vea has been playing for so long. You know, he only just finished year 6 in the NFL. I could have sworn you could have told me Vita Vea has been playing for 13. I would have been like, oh yeah.
I remember when he got drafted.
He's only 29. Jeez, I feel like he's well, maybe it's because he showed up from day one and was dominant. I feel like that's probably, but
Okay, for real this time. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. We post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe to us there, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We post new reels almost every single day of the week on YouTube as well. We post new TikToks Tuesday to Sunday. You can see some of our off-season wish lists there that are exclusive to that. As well as other content. We post on Instagram as well, so make sure to tune in there. We post some of our lists there. We post some of the wish lists there. It's overall a great time. And with that, thank you guys so much for listening, watching.
Wait, sorry, last thing before I leave us off. According to Adam Schefter, there could be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year.
That's some cap. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Waterboys out.